Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to this episode. Today, I'm chatting with Emily of The Party Method, and she has become my go-to graphic designer for all the things. She does everything. So I was introduced to Emily through a friend of a friend of a friend in the balloon community, and she has helped me design and create large chloroplast designs. So everything from company logos to put into centerpieces to some of the larger features in my huge installation. I did the Wizard of Oz install. She did like giant doors for Oz and a fence for the Scarecrow. So she has done small and large projects. Most recently, I have hired her to create an entire wardrobe for my business, basically. I told her I need polos, I need jackets, I need hats, I need shirts. I'm just so sick of spending time looking for my few balloon decor shirts. I just need a whole wardrobe, and she has set me up once again. So Emily is very familiar with balloons, with the decor scene. She is just your go-to person. So I'm so excited to introduce many of you to her, and hopefully she can help you out with any of your graphic design or printing needs in the future. So without further ado, let's get into the UGlue hotline and then head into this interview with Emily from The Party Method. Welcome to the UGlue hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks. Brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hi, Sarah. My name is Laura Welsh. I am the owner of LWP Balloon Creations, and I'm located just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been ballooning for just over a year. I'm a full-time photographer and a mom of three, so it's kind of like my side hustle, even though it's a real business. So I am a huge, huge fan of your podcast. I love how relatable you are and easy to listen to. I even bought your 2024 planner, and I'm slowly getting it filled in. Work in progress. But I'm calling in with a tip of the day for the balloon stuffers out there. So whenever you stuff your balloons in like a balloon machine, like a Balloonsy or anything, there's a top rim that you put the neck of your balloon around. And sometimes if you have longer nails or even if you don't, sometimes it's just difficult to get the neck of the balloon off after you have finished stuffing it. So my tip of the day is to put a piece of tape around the outside rim of the Balloonsy. So you put it from the inside to the outside, and that way when you're all finished, you just kind of lift it up, and that piece of the balloon pops up, and you can just easily maneuver the rest around. Yep, so that's my tip of the day, and I appreciate you listening. Congratulations on your baby, and thanks.
Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, UGlue, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on UGlue when you buy directly from Having a Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. Welcome to this podcast episode, Emily. I'm excited to have you on. We've been working together for a while.
Yeah.
And you are the owner of The Method Design, and you work with party specialists. I'm so excited. You are not a balloon person, but you know our industry very well. Give us a quick introduction. How did you find us? How did we find you?
Oh, I'll wrap
Where
it
did
as
you get into this,
tightly
this
as I
crazy
can.
world?
Yeah, so my name is Emily Knopfsinger. Maiden name is Lindo. Funny enough, my business actually started as the Lindo method.
Hmm.
And when I got married, my husband was like, "You're going to keep it?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll drop it." So the whole thing behind the name is there's a method to my madness. I've always said that my whole life. So I was like, the method design it is. So yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in fine arts, concentration in graphic design. When I graduated college, I took a job with a newspaper, which was a terrible job for me. It was more about editing than it was like art, and I quickly
Okay.
learned that was like not my place. And then I moved on to a sign shop that does like vehicle wraps and stuff. And shortly after that, I met my husband. I got pregnant, and I kind of paused my career. And during that time, I was in one of those massive baby groups. Moms due in, I believe it was May. My kid was premature, but I think it was a May baby group. And in that group, I met this woman who was like, she was asking if anybody knew where they could get baby announcements and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'll help. I'm
Oh,
not doing anything.
interesting.
I'm free. So I started doing all these baby announcements for people. And then one of the girls I found out lived in Louisville. I currently live in Owensboro, Kentucky. And I was like, oh, somebody in my state. And so we started talking, and she added me to the massive Party Mavens group on Facebook, which like opened my eyes to this huge market of people that were not only just doing the most amazing content, because they were like, hey, I'm not just doing a Winnie the Pooh birthday party or baby shower, like I'm doing it.
Yeah,
And
right. There's
so
like
I was,
Instagram, yeah,
yes,
worthy parties.
like Pinterest, Instagram worthy stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I have to be a part of this. So I started just making invitations. My original like vision for like what I was doing in my life was going to be like branding and helping people do their logos and websites and like all this stuff that was real business driven. But when I found out about the party market, I was like, oh my gosh, like there's so much more fun things that I can do. Because if you're a designer, you would know that branding gets pretty monotonous pretty quickly. You're like, okay, let's load you up with all these tools and push you out the door. But a lot of times your clients don't come back for anything else.
Okay.
I've since learned it's really about creating a good relationship with your clients, and then also expanding your ability to find the resources necessary. Because I am a one-stop shop. I pride myself in that, but it's because I've made good connections with other people and other businesses. And I'm kind of the middleman for a lot of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, but within Party Mavens, I met a friend. Her name is Cody, and Cody was asking for a backdrop, and I shot her a price, and she was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll be back with you." She thought it was a scam
Because
at
it
the
was so
time I wasn't.
inexpensive?
Yeah, I was swinging a deal, and it's mostly because I have a partnership with a third party printer that's owned by somebody in my family, and so we kind of, I give them stuff, they give me stuff, kind of thing, and so they're my main source of printing backdrops and banners and props and all kinds of stuff. And like when I shot Cody the price, she was like, okay, well, she happened to know somebody in my hometown, and she went looking to make sure I was a real person.
Interesting.
Yeah, and after she found out that I was a real person, her cousin knew my sisters and a bunch of other stuff. So we ended up really good friends. And Cody at the time was an event planner. That's how she had marketed herself. She owns the event code, and
And it's with a K, right?
yeah, with code for Cody, which is
Yeah.
KODI. So it's KODE for the event code. And shortly after, we just kind of vibed, and we're like really good friends now. And she dropped the whole event planning thing and then moved into balloons.
Well, and
And I
it's so interesting because it is such a small world, because
have,
I knew Cody through a friend, and then I met her at Float, and it was right when
yeah,
I was working on a pretty big project with you. And she's like, "Oh, I know
yeah,
Emily. She's like one of my best friends." I
it's
was like,
such a
"What is this
small
world?" Like
world.
everyone's
Yeah.
connected. I love it.
Yeah, Cody has opened up and put my name in rooms that I didn't know I was invited to.
Well, good. I hope this podcast does
Yeah,
the same thing, because you've helped me in so many situations. We're going to get into the
I
specifics of
appreciate
how
it.
you can help everyone. Let's take a quick
Yeah.
break, and
Okay.
then let's chat a little bit about branding. We had one
Okay.
branding episode, and everyone loved it, because I think
Ooh,
we are
my favorite.
creative people, but we're also so in our own businesses. I think sometimes we get lost in our own brand. So let's come back and chat about that. Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Having a Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. Having a Party Wholesale is on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients, from top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Sempertex, Premium Conwin, and introducing Brookloon, a new balloon line created by the Having a Party family. They've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at havingaparty.com. All right, welcome back. Branding. This is where you started.
Yes, this is how I fell in love with graphic design in general. So when I was in high school, I was a part of the yearbook committee. Well, the whole club, whatever. I ended up being the lead designer my senior year. And I started seeing all these businesses pour advertisements into our book. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's a business here. Like I can do this for life.
Oh, interesting.
So I spent 2.5 years at Northern Kentucky University, and I ended up transferring home to Western Kentucky University, where I finished up my degree. And I have learned so much. Both of those schools put so much into me. I came out, I felt like I was ready for the world. Unfortunately, I did not land an agency job like I thought I would. And I quickly learned that a lot of people my age that came out of college were like, what do I do? Because here I thought I was going to be doing this. And I was like, why not start doing it myself?
Mm-hmm.
So I started small. I was charging $50 for a logo here and there. Party Mavens really opened up a big market of people who were just starting out as well. So I had a lot of people that I were like, yeah, let me do your logo. Let me do some business cards for you. And then I will say I started seeing some problematic clients because I didn't feel like I was charging my worth at the time. And I learned that wholeheartedly, like, charge your worth or you're going to deal with people that are going to nickel and dime you.
Yeah.
So I rolled pretty quickly in like 2 or 3 years into a better business model. And now I'm officially an LLC, not just a sole proprietor trying to make it, but like I'm doing it. And it's been such a blessing. And in that time, I've moved from just making logos into like giving somebody what I call a brand toolkit, or an aesthetic toolkit. And I just cannot stress the importance of having those tools available to yourself. So when I make a logo, I want to make sure that you have a stacked version, maybe a seal, maybe an icon. I want you to have all your colors, I want you to have your typography, and I want you to have the visual part of it. What kind of backgrounds would you use if you just need to put out an out of office message up on your Facebook? What kind of things is your website going to pair with? What kind of patterns look good with your logo? And in some cases, some of those are very custom patterns that are, tailored straight to your brand altogether. Like your little balloon icon or your little special star. Like I want all the little details to matter. Like just like an event planner goes in and like ties up all those loose ends, make sure the menu is tailored, make sure the napkin colors are correct and the napkin rings. Like I want to do that for brands.
I love that.
Yeah,
I kind of stumbled into a full website redo because
I noticed that yesterday when I was looking at your site.
Well, it all snowballed. I recorded some episodes about it, but it's like, first I wanted to update the product photos, but then I felt like it was like if you get a new couch and you put it in a room where like all the other furniture is like 10 years old. So I was like, okay, now I'm going to tweak this. Now I'm going to tweak this. Anyway, one long weekend later of, working on my website, it's all new. But it was the first time in the history of my business where I had all of those elements that you were just talking about. I had updated headshots. I had updated product photos in my brand colors. I had a logo I liked. I had the different versions of the logo. And like it made putting the website together so fast and easy and consistent. Otherwise, I would get lost in like, okay, now I need to put a picture of a column. Now I'm going to spend 2 hours looking for a column that I like.
You did the update yourself?
I did, but I've always done my own website, so I wouldn't recommend that to people.
That's like a huge thing. Even like I do Wix websites.
That's what I did. Partner. I did a Wix website, but just having the elements kept me from stalling out like I normally would have. So I think
absolutely,
it's almost like I did it in reverse order the first time. It was like I started building the website and then I was like, oh shoot, now I need a circle logo. Oh shoot, now I need a headshot. Oh shoot, now I need this, versus getting all that stuff like loaded up in a file like you were just talking about and then going to town.
And
It was so much
that's what
easier.
I want to give to people. Like when they come to me for branding, which branding isn't really everything I do right now. It's kind of at the bottom of the list.
Hmm.
But when I do branding, it's like I literally tell you like I'm trying to give you everything possible to drive your brand confidently yourself without having to come back to me. I want you to come back to me if I can help you in any way. But if there's one reality I know about being a small business and an independent person, like I'm a one woman operation here, and many other companies that I work for, because I specialize in small business solutions, are people just like us, one person. Maybe they have 2 or 3 people that help them, but for the most part, it's one person running the social media. It's one person running, invoicing and all of this. I want to give them everything in their hands so they feel confident enough to use it, but also establish a good enough relationship that they feel comfortable asking me to do it, even if they don't have time.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want you to not be able to use me, but use me when you feel like it's necessary. I
Yeah.
feel
Well,
like that has created the best dynamic for me.
and we've started working together more and more because a lot of the things that I have you do, well, we'll talk about your third party partnerships because that's the part I can't do. Like, where do I get this printed? Where do I
Yeah,
get this cut out? So we'll talk about that. But it's a lot of stuff that I guess I could do by myself, right? Like, I
yeah,
could spend a couple hours on Canva. I could look around and try to figure out the sizing. I could, but why am I going to spend 6 hours doing something that you can do in like 20 minutes? So more and more, it's like I've been prioritizing my time
the
over,
convenience thing
doing
more than
everything for,
anything.
quote
Yeah.
unquote free. Because a lot of times you do something for free, you get it printed. It's not what you wanted anyway, and you've wasted money.
Yeah, and I do a lot of printing for people that like send stuff to me directly. I don't necessarily design everything that I print, but I do try my best to adjust a little bit here and there or give them the best tips and tricks if they are going to do that. Hey, I understand balling on a budget because that's been my whole business model up until this point. I think this year was the first year I've taken myself seriously with pricing and just learning how to like actually make a profit and not bending over backwards for people just because you want to look your best. Because
Right.
sure, yes, absolutely, you want to look your best, but it's also like you shouldn't sacrifice yourself for other people. So like I do pride myself on being more affordable. I can't be cheap, but I can certainly try to be affordable for people who are running like a good business and know how to manage their budgets themselves. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
No, I
make
love that because I think there are some businesses that are like full on agencies that are, they're maybe more than what we can afford or what we need. And it's like
yeah,
sometimes you get a recommendation that's just not appropriate for the scale of your business. And
yeah,
I love that
absolutely.
you are, working for us, for small
Yeah.
businesses, and you understand that because you are one.
Yeah, I think that's honestly what pushes me to continue doing what I do is that I know if I stopped, I would have a lot of people very disappointed.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
made myself an asset in so many different businesses and I've made so many great relationships and so many clients who vouch for me that I'm like, I would never want to disappoint them. On top of the fact that I'm really proud of what I've built. Not only am I making a profit and doing well for myself, but I am making other people look great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing is better than somebody being like, I'll comment on something, hey, I can help you with that. And like 5 people underneath it and party mavens are like, yes, get to Emily. She's got you. My
Yeah.
stuff turns out great. Like that's such a good feeling to have other people vouch for your just ability to show up for them and show out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a quick break and then I want to talk about like your tangible items
Yes.
that you can produce for people because that's why I started using you and it has grown into other services as well. You talked a little bit about like the backdrops and the printing and the designing, but it's also like the actual item that shows up at your door. So I want to talk about that.
Are you driving to do an installation right now? Have you ever had that experience of while you're driving, your phone rings and it's a great potential customer, but you're on the middle of the freeway and you can't take the details of the order down, and so you're really worried you're going to forget everything? Well, there's a really great way to solve this. It's by having an answering service. If you'd like to learn more solutions to the balloon decor business problems you face, then come on over to balloonsuite.com. We have a blog full of expertise, and we offer packages that help you get your sales on track to reach your goals. Come on over, learn more, and you can subscribe at balloonsuite.com.
All right, welcome back. Let's talk about, you mentioned at the beginning you work with a third-party printer. This for me was where all the magic happened. I got in contact with you. I can't remember the first time that I used you. It was definitely for like the chloroplast
Logo props.
printing.
Logo props.
Yes,
The
so I
ones that
needed
you
a
like put up next to installations that have like your logo and stuff on it. Yeah.
yes, I was working with corporate or maybe it was a school and I was like I need this logo printed, ugh, can you do this? And you like sized it, you designed it, and then you were like, yep, they're gonna like show up to your door in a box. And
Super
I was like, wait,
fast.
what? And it
Super
was, I mean,
fast.
it was very fast. It was very affordable.
There's
And
very
it
few
was,
items that don't ship fast because we have a partnership with FedEx. So I FedEx overnight literally 90% of my items. So you order on a Monday, it's going to be in your hands by Wednesday. And I
which
pride
is
myself in that.
which is really, I mean, for balloons, a lot of times we're trying to solve these problems with balloons. And sometimes the solution isn't balloons. It's like, it's getting it printed and having the logo on a piece of, chloroplast that then you add into a garland and it looks really nice. So I
I
think
have
it
to
was a
attribute Cody
school.
to that. Cody was the first person that was like, "Hey, do you think you could do this?" And she sent me like this idea. She was like, I think somebody had done like paper cutouts or something,
Mm,
and she was like, "Do you think you could do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I definitely could," because my printer does coroplast or yard sign material, like you said, and I was like, I can't do anything smaller than like 4x4 or 6x6, something like that. So I can't like do itty bitty stuff. But I was like, yeah, we'll just do it out of that material. It's so lightweight. It holds up. The printing looks amazing. Like it's such vibrant colors. I'm like, of course, those are easy to wipe down with a baby wipe if they get like a little dusty, and bam, put them up on the garland and you're good to go.
yeah, and I mean, they're whatever you need them to be. Like I did a Barbie installation and you printed me Barbie. I literally emailed you. I was like, I need Barbie stuff. And then like they just
Gotcha.
arrived. There were shoes and Barbie logos and hearts and like it just made it so easy. And I know I've done college logos, like anything that I'm like, how am I gonna make this out of balloons? I'm always like, wait a minute. I'm gonna have Emily make it. I worked with an alcohol company and they
Yeah,
wanted to
the little
incorporate,
Prince things or
yeah,
whatever they
they had
had.
like the little tall skinny cans. They were like, can you incorporate these? And of course, I'm like, how am I going to make a can out of balloons? Like, oh my gosh, it's going to look tacky. And then of course, it was like, oh my gosh, Emily can print these little cans, and we put them
And
in a
they turned out so
backdrop and
cute. Yes, they
centerpieces.
look
They were,
great.
yeah, they were super cute. So that's how I have been using you, because it's like they come cut out. And like I said,
I
I
do
mean,
single and double sided. So it's
single
like
and
if
double
you have
sided.
it in
Yep.
the center of the table, it's easy. Most of the time we can just flip the image. Sometimes I have to do a little finagling. But yeah, and people don't understand, like people have gone nuts over like these large entryways and like bigger and bigger. It's like the coroplast thing is caught on and people are doing like really, really big things of it. But I'm like, at the same time, people underestimate the power of like something small, like those
Hmm.
little garland accessories. I call them all props because they are. You can use them for whatever you want. People have put them in the ground for, like actually with steep stakes and stuff. Some people have thrown them up in garlands. Some people put it on the table. Some people attach them to Kiara walls. It's like it's such a versatile thing.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm glad that I figured it out. Actually, the sign shop that I worked at is the reason why I know about like the contour cuts, and I attribute everything to the guy that owned that. His name is David. David taught me everything I knew to be able to be successful in this business, which is crazy to think.
Well, and
And
it's so, I mean, it's so affordable. We don't have to say
yes,
specific pricing, because if people listen to this episode in the
yes,
future, it might have
everything
increased.
could change.
But like
Yeah,
you can very realistically get these printed, shipped, arrived, and logo out a whole company party for like $100. And like you can upsell it way more
yeah,
than that as a balloon person.
yeah,
So you print per sheet. And
yeah.
this is one facet of what you do, but
Well,
I think,
it's complicated to some people because it's like, okay, I don't understand. Like the sheets of material, I have
yeah,
to use a whole sheet. It's like a waste if you don't. So I
right.
just sell the whole sheet. So it's a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet. And I'm like, let's fill it up. The average tabletop item is going to be anywhere from 12 to 18 inches. And then, if you need big props, anything under about 34 inches ships free. It's included. Anything over that, there's some extra shipping charges, anywhere from like 35 to like $75. And if we're doing stuff like 6 foot and over, it's $200 to ship. But like I use overnight FedEx, so that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're doing small things, it's basically free, you
And
know?
well, and that's the other thing too. I'm like, I'm having all these memories now of when I started working with you. The first time I used you, I didn't need the whole sheet. So you designed a whole bunch of leftover logos. You took my logo and you printed it all different sizes. And then it's on that plastic stuff. So that's what I put on like donations, or if I ever need to, attach my sign to anything. I think we've all been in that situation where people are like, oh, can you like put a sign on the balloons? And you're like, Not really. I don't know what you're talking about. This is like a good thing that you can stick on there, and it hangs with like U glue dashes. They're super light.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you're not going to fill up the whole sheet, what's a common theme that you use?
Mm-hmm.
We need to throw some Winnie the Poohs on there. Do we need some Mickey Mouse heads? Like, I'm trying to think, like, utilize your purchase, even if, like, I've had just the other day, I had somebody, a girl in Murray, Kentucky here. I forgot the name of her business, but she did Murray State's graduation. And so she did like a whole sheet, like half of the sheet was Murray State. And then the other half of it had some of her logo. It had some for this other event. Like, she used it for like 3 different events.
Yeah, yeah.
Lady in Florida, same thing. She used a whole sheet for one business and then she needed just a little bit more. So the half sheet of the next one was still the first theme, and then she used the other half for another theme. Like, it's like utilizing the space and making sure that you get the most out of the purchase. And I'm here for it. I'll help you. I will play Tetris for you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
you did help me with a bigger project. So I just had my big,
Yes.
huge job, my balloon adventure, and we did
Oh
like
gosh.
full size like Emerald City doors, like cut out
Those are
with
so
like
cool.
a
They look
lace
so
cut.
tiny compared to the rest of the thing.
I
I
know
was
those
like,
were
these
huge.
6 foot doors are going to look amazing. And then I'm like, they look so tiny.
No, it looked, I mean,
You
it
guys
looked
outdid
nice because it was
yourself.
a nice change in texture. I like
Yes.
when it's not all balloons, when there's some
Yeah.
other stuff. So we did like fence panels, we did windows, shutters, things that you could like
Yeah.
add on to finish balloon houses instead of trying to like make all these things out of little teeny
Absolutely.
tiny balloons. And that was a big order. It arrived on a pallet. It was shipped flat. So yeah, so you figure out how to get them here. I did none of that. I was just like, here's what I need. Can you do
Yeah.
this? You were basically like designer
Okay.
on that
Yeah.
that part of that project.
And I love one that turned out absolutely amazing. I totally agree with you about the textures. I think that's why I like the props so much, is because it breaks up the monotony of what balloons can give. There is some cool stuff that you can do with balloons, but sometimes you need that break for the eye to really appreciate like the full set.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. So I want to take a quick break. And then we'll just continue our conversation, but I want to make sure to expand to all the things that you offer. So
absolutely.
we will talk about how you can serve people when we get back. Hey, listeners, before we wrap up today's episode, let's talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Balloon Guild. Do you ever see amazing balloon decor online and wonder, how did they make that? The Balloon Guild is revolutionizing the industry by standardizing recipes, SOPs, and offering unparalleled training. Their mission? To elevate balloon artists worldwide, ensuring efficiency, profitability, and unparalleled professionalism. For business owners and their teams, the Balloon Guild isn't just a resource, it's a game changer for growth and development. For me, it's been the ultimate shortcut in finally getting things out of my head and onto paper, so I'm not making things up on the fly, and so my team can work together to create consistent, fast decor. Visit their platform today at theballoonguild.com or by using the link in the show notes. New recipes and resources are released every month. Welcome back. Had to fit in a break there. But let's keep chatting about how you make this so easy for us.
Yeah. So really the process looks like this. You're like, hey, I'm throwing a Mickey Mouse rodeo party, first birthday. I need a Mickey Mouse. I need some table toppers. I need some tiny little Mickey Mouses for my garland. I'm like, all right. So most of the time I end up doing the graphics. I do have a few clients that like I set them up a Canva template and I let them kind of throw their stuff in there, and then they'll share the Canva template with me. And I go in, I kind of resize and adjust because they don't know the cuts like I do.
Right.
So I have to do a little minor adjustments sometimes. And most of you guys, if y'all are listening out there, are like, yes, thank you, Emily, for saving me. But for the most part, like I find the imagery, I have a fountain of graphics.
Yeah, where do
Most
you
of the
even get,
time.
like, how do you do this? Where do you get stuff?
I have over like 10 terabytes of storage. That's how I do this. Some of it is, I mean, like I've literally had somebody send me a gift bag before that they found at Walgreens, and they're like, I like this. Can we make it a theme? And I'm like, yeah. And I did it. I found Some of it I found, some of it I used AI to generate similar flower styles, but I have so many buckets of assets. It's not even funny. And I just know how to cipher through it. I've been doing this for quite some time. And I'm like, oh, I used that kind of glitter on this project 2 years ago.
Interesting.
I can usually recall somebody that's done something similar. And if I can't find it, I'm not past going to Etsy and finding clip art, you know? That's what everybody else is going to do anyways.
Right.
I don't ground up a whole lot of what I do. I absolutely can. I have done custom cartoons. I have done custom florals. I've done custom all kinds of stuff, but my business model is to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So I don't do a lot of ground up things if I can help it. But just saying that, it does not mean that you're not going to get a unique experience or a unique look. Just the other day, somebody asked me to do this dino, and she was like, I don't know where this dino came from. And I found it. It was a different color, so I had to readjust the color, and I sent it back to her, and she was like, praise you. I don't know how you found it, but I love you. And I'm like, yep, that's it. I can change colors. I can, change the font. Let's add some glitter. Like, whatever you want, I got it. I used to tell people when I was younger that I make things look pretty, and I stand on that. I'm
Yeah.
never going to do something that looks awful. If you do bring me graphics, I try to tell you like, hey, that's low quality. It's probably not going to work. I try to catch all of those little things. Sometimes it'll slip through the cracks, but for the most part, I pride myself in being able to provide whatever you're looking for. Even if you're just like, hey, I got a pastel Candyland I'm trying to do. I'm like, bring it.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean,
do
like
it.
realistically, now I'm remembering all these things I've reached out for you. The Barbie one was an example of just like, I sent you words and that was it. I was like, I need Barbie stuff stat. And then the other one that I just remembered, we had like a Hollywood movie night
Oh yeah,
and I
yeah,
was like, hey, here's their website. Can you make this like go? And you pulled the glittery texture from the
yeah,
background of their website and you put it into the Hollywood sign. So it looked very branded. And then I was like, and I need other movie stuff. And you sent like
yeah,
clappers and film
yeah.
and like, so you're like, that's what I want people to know. It's not like us having to go through the energy of like, here's
No.
exactly what I want and here are the images. Can you print it? It's just like, you just magically make it happen at a price that's like, I don't know. I feel like I should be paying 10 times what I pay you because it's like you're a member
I
of my
appreciate
team.
that. I appreciate that. Being a business to business operation changes my pricing because I want to create a relationship where you're going to come back constantly.
Right.
So I do occasionally get the one-off orders and stuff, but I really do pride myself in being like, hey, let's work together consistently because this is a partnership. I want to do what you can't handle, and when I need you, I want to be able to call on you. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
usually how it turns out. So one of my clients has a photo booth, and I do photo booth overlays for her. So she'll literally on Tuesday be like, hey, I've got a elementary school graduation tomorrow. Do you think you could, here's the logo, here's this, and I will just send it back to her. And she's like, you're amazing. Thank you.
So that's like a digital thing that then they
Yeah.
just, because a lot of
Just
people do have photo booths
yeah,
that
she uses
listen.
like the salsa
Yep.
system. It's
Yep.
like an iPad or whatever. And I have her log in. So I just log in and upload it for her. And
Oh
it's
my gosh.
yeah, and I charge $10 for those, which sounds outrageous, but you have to think the amount of assets and stuff that I go through, I can get those done in 10 minutes. So it's nothing for me to figure it out, approve it, and then send it back. And
Yeah.
I have so many examples of those. I think they're so cute. We've learned very quickly like what doesn't work on a photo booth as far as like shadows and stuff like that. But
But I think that's cool
yeah,
too, because you mentioned at the beginning, you're kind of like this middleman
yeah,
between us and like a printer, for example. But you're
yeah,
also like in that example, you can also be a middleman between us to each other. Like someone might have a
absolutely.
photo booth and not know that you just designed this
Yeah,
same theme
absolutely.
for someone else and it'll work for theirs. So it's like you can kind of connect ideas between balloon
Absolutely.
people.
And I'm not beyond learning something either. I don't know how many times people have been like, hey, do you know how to? And I'm like, nope, but I can figure it out. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's creative on any level. If it's software, if it's something that I can put together for you, I'm going to try my best to do it. This field is ever growing right now. I think it's really interesting that the event business is as large as it is. People
Hmm.
are like, the world is burning, but guess what? We're going to party during it, and
Yeah,
I
for
am here
real.
for it.
Yeah. But we have touched on just a few of the things that you do. We talked about the printed chloroplast. You mentioned the salsa photo booth, like the digitals. You're currently working on, what do you even call it? A line of shirts for me. Like I
I
basically was
called it
like,
a
hey,
lookbook. Yeah, I called it
lookbook.
a
And I just got it. And I'm like,
lookbook.
I could reach
Do you
out to
love
a
it?
printer. I do. I could reach out to a printer and be like, hey, here's this logo that is I designed and doesn't look very good. And I don't really want to have to deal with resizing or whatever. But instead, I just reached out to Emily. I was like, can you just design me a wardrobe of things? Because I
I
don't
had
want
so
to do
much fun
this.
doing it.
Yeah, yeah. So you're
It's
doing
so much
shirts and
fun.
stuff. What else? What else can you help us with?
So, from ground up, let me say, so my business name is The Method Design. But as I've further gotten into the party area, I have since made a baby brand. My baby brand is called The Party Method. You like what I did there?
Yes.
And actually, you can find most of my information. It's thepartymethod.co, so co.
Okay.
Somebody stole com from me, so I'm stuck with co. But I have a lot of like what I do on there, and I feature a lot of my current clients on there. Gosh, it's like an endless list of things that I do. From a business standpoint, I do business branding. I can help you with business cards, logo, your brand toolkit, stuff like that. I do websites. I don't take websites on as swiftly as I do other stuff because they just take so long to do. I probably take 2 or 3 per quarter of the year. So please don't call me. But for party related stuff, I do backdrops, I do posters, I do floor wraps, I have paper prints, anything from a business card up to a 18 by 28 I can print. Most people don't do that. They usually go for a poster, like to frame the posters instead. But you're talking business card, trading card, menus, standard invitations, wide menus, placemats. I do the prop sheets. I also have one particular client that has trusted me on my journey to learn about treats. So actually treat printing and stuff is like super basic. Most people know you design, you print it, you fold it, you tape it, all of this. But this particular client takes it a step further for me. Her name is Island Girls Events and Design. They're in Modesto Island, South Carolina, I believe, or North Carolina, one of the Carolinas. But she lets me go crazy. It started with this request of custom cigars. Custom cigars. I was like,
Like
okay,
actual ones
let's
that
do
you
it.
smoke?
I didn't make the cigars, obviously, but she wanted to brand the cigars.
Like
So
the
I
wrappy
made
thing.
little
Okay.
stickers that like wrap around it. We took cigar boxes and made adhesives to lay on the cigar boxes to look like it was branded to these people. And it turned out so good. We ended up doing a girl one a few months later after the first one. And I actually think the first one was a retirement. There's a picture of these little matchbooks and the cigars in a box on my website where you can see it's like a red, white, and blue theme. It was an Air Force retirement is what it was. But it turned out so good. And she was like, wonder what else you can do, because my printer does adhesive. And I was like, I don't know, let's do it. So I've done like floor wraps and other things. But for her, I do a lot of Hershey's, water bottles and juices and juice boxes and all kinds of stuff. And like, that's kind of hard to say, like, here's a set price. It's really about like what you need and how many. And I have to
Right.
like kind of tailor that individually. But yeah, and then I realized I was like, oh, I could go larger. So I do Kiara wall covers for the people that have like the wood Kiaras. It's just an adhesive sheet and you put it on there and afterwards you take it off. A lot of people repaint them and resand them and stuff anyways.
You could do those on the plastic too if
I
someone needed it to
can.
be
So
rigid?
that's the other thing is when the coroplast started blowing up, I started doing like mini Kiara walls,
Okay.
which now everybody calls them like 3D backdrops. So I've done several of the 3D backdrops where it's like pieces. And actually the Island Girls did one that was Elmo and it was so stinking cute. It was a big Kiara and then it had like this little rainbow coming off the side of it. And we did a floor wrap and like there was some props with like Dorothy the goldfish and other stuff. Like it turned out so cute.
Oh, that sounds
And I
adorable.
really have to say, like, I just kind of make the stuff, but my planners literally take it and run with it and like make me look so good.
No, I mean, well, it's mutual. You make us look really good.
But yeah, literally anything that you can think of in the party realm, I'm there for. And really anything you can think of in the business side, I'm here for. And I do a lot of like, like business cards. You're like, hey, Emily, I need a business card. I'm like, okay. So I'll do the business card. I usually give free updates because most people aren't trying to change the entire design.
Mhm.
Or hey, I've got 2 or 3 people that I hired. I need some more, business cards. After you pay that initial design fee, I'm never going to ask you to pay that design fee again until you're like rehauling the entire thing. I'm always just going to charge you print cost after that. I think that comes back to that mutual agreement that like we're depending on each other. So I never want anyone to feel like I'm nickel and diming them.
Right.
This is a beneficial relationship that I want both of us to grow with. So I'm always going to swing you a good price as long as you come back to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I've just loved getting to know you and loved getting to know your services over the last, I don't know, year or so, but it's just, yeah, even hearing some of these other things, I'm like, I had no idea you did that. And I'm excited to work with you.
I'm excited about this apparel stuff. I can't wait till you get it. We can take photos and show everyone. So this is my first time doing the apparel lookbook. I've definitely printed shirts and hats and stuff for people before through some of my mutual third-party stuff, but I've never got to do like an entire line.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot.
I got to do the different stylings with it. It wasn't just one t-shirt. It was like, how does this look like on 10 different things?
Yes, because now that I don't know what, like I'm a stay-at-home mom / stay-at-home business owner. I used to like go places during the day and now I don't. And I'm like, I just look like a scrub all the time. I just need a full suite of clothing that I can put on and always look branded and always look colorful and fun. I've gotten shirts made, online printing places and like it just the quality wasn't good, or I didn't line up the thing, or I didn't know how to put something on the sleeve because it wasn't an option. So having you just do it all has been awesome.
I'm excited to help and I can't wait. Like, I just feel like every other month something new falls into my lap and I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And like, I can put it in my services. And like, I just feel like in the next few years, I'm going to have to start hiring people to help.
Well, you might.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. We will put all of your contact information in the show notes. So if people are listening and need you, they will be able to find you quickly. And you are the Party Method on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. So if people want to see your stuff right now as they're listening, you can head over. Well, thank you so much, Emily. It was so nice chatting with you.
It is a pleasure. I stumbled into the balloon world and I'm happy to be here servicing people. I've met such incredible like artists, and y'all truly have a vision for what you do. And I'm jealous because I am not a physical artist. I am a digital artist. That was one thing I failed at in art school. Every time I had to turn something in physical, they were always like little rough around the edges. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Well, that's why we're a good partnership. Well,
Yes.
that's it came together. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.